Welcome to the Dominican Republic for the Women's Under-17 Championship. Today it's Cuba versus Guatemala. We're still in the group stage as we get set to decide who moves on to the round of 16. So everyone moves on except for the bottom team in each group. And right now, Cuba and Guatemala are fighting to get out of that bottom spot. 87 degrees, sunny, bright, only a 6% chance of rain. So we're not going to have the kind of muggy day that we had yesterday, and that is good to see. I'm Maura Sheridan, glad to have you along with us as you see the Group H standings right now. El Salvador and Haiti will play later tonight, and Cuba and Guatemala, like I said, both with losses early. They're hoping to move on to the next round, the round of 16. And so one of those two, may be the team that doesn't move on. Here's the schedule for today. Right now, going on at the same time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Canada and Bermuda are also playing. Canada, Mexico, United States are on paper the top 3 teams in this U17 championship. So I'm very interested to see how Canada fares today. And then the next match is coming up tonight. Like I mentioned, the big one in this group is Haiti and El Salvador. That will probably decide who gets the best seeding moving forward. Haiti's put together a nice team, also has a really nice team at the senior level as well. So that one should be a good one. That's coming up at 7 o'clock Eastern Time right here in San Cristobal, Dominican Republic. We should have a evenly matched game today. I think these are two teams looking for a bounce back. Again, they each played Haiti or El Salvador. Cuba lost 2-0 to Haiti, and Guatemala had a rather big loss to El Salvador on Sunday. 6-0 was the final score, and that was just one of those games where El Salvador kind of came out firing 27 shots to 5 shots taken by Guatemala, looking to up the ante with that a little bit. But neither team has scored, and I think that's the storyline for today to get things started. Just looking for someone to get goal number 1 on the season. You know, we saw yesterday Grenada get goal number 1, and so there's just a couple of teams left that haven't been able to score so far in the Concacaf U17 Championship. And presumably, unless we get a 0-0 draw, that will change for one of these teams today. In net, Jeka Castellanos for Guatemala and Jalia Hernandez will be in goal on the other end for Cuba. We'll have both teams come out, and then we'll have national anthems coming up in just a few. Again, the Concacaf U17 Championship just around the corner between Guatemala and Cuba.
A continuación, el himno nacional de Guatemala.
All right, set to go. Cuba and Guatemala. As you see in the white right now, Guatemala with that blue stripe across, and then in all red and a little bit of white is Cuba. So San Cristobal, Dominican Republic, as we get ready for kickoff here, posing for the photos for both teams, the Cuban national team at the U17 level, and then of course Guatemala's U17 team as well. Again, I'm Maura Sheridan, glad to have you with us today. If you're watching from the United States at about 4 o'clock Eastern time, and I'm sure there's a lot of people watching from all around the world. We'll have starting lineups and coin toss coming up in just a few, as both of these teams without a win so far. Only played one game. So there's a slate of 4 games today. As you see the starting lineup for Cuba there, mentioned Hernandez will be in net, and then Franco will wear the captain's band today. Then, of course, a little coin toss and a nice little introduction of the captains. Guerra is the ref today out of Honduras, and you see all the other referees talking things over as well. And then on the other side for Guatemala, here is the starting lineup. Polanco is the captain today, and Castellanos will be in net. Jekka Castellanos got the start as well the last time around for Guatemala. Again, a 6-0 loss for Guatemala against El Salvador. And really what happened is El Salvador started scoring in the 7th minute and then continued scoring pretty consistently until the 89th minute. El Salvador played an extremely physical game and, you know, committed a bunch of fouls, 20 fouls total in the game for El Salvador compared to just 7 on the other end for Guatemala. But it seemed like it disrupted Guatemala a little bit, just that physical style of play, and then 27 shots compared to 5 in favor of El Salvador. So looking to change the narrative a little bit today is Guatemala. Then on the other end for Cuba, it was a pretty heartbreaking loss because it came down to basically a bad end of the first half. Haiti scored in less than 10 minutes to end that first half. So there was a goal in the 34th and the 43rd minute, and that was that. Couldn't find their way back. Cuba, again, clean sheet for Haiti, and that was an ultimate, again, just heartbreaking loss, just a lapse of 10 minutes that kind of fell apart. Getting ready to go here. Again, Dominican Republic is where all of these games will take place here in the Concacaf U17 Championship. The only teams that won't move on to the group of 16 are the bottom 4 teams in this group stage. So this game really matters for Cuba and Guatemala, because if you drop your two first games, it's going to be hard to get out of that first round. And obviously the goal for these teams is just to finish 3rd, potentially 2nd. That's still on the table, but a couple of teams have already clinched, including the United States, who beat Puerto Rico 13-0 yesterday and clinched a round of 16 berth. All right, just looking and waiting for Guerra to get that first whistle, and she does. Guatemala will start with the ball here. Again, Castellanos back in net. Taken away up that right wing. Far side deflected out, almost in the 18. Cleared back here for Cuba. Cuba in red, Guatemala in white and blue. Reynoso goes wide with it. Sarasota. So this Guatemalan team will play a 4-4-2. Again, shape obviously subject to change as always. Montalvo leaves it up the middle. Other way for Cuba. Montalvo back to her, watches it roll out, and it's going to be with Guatemala. Sofia Morales back there playing some D. See the head coaches for both teams. Vidal Logao, head coach for Cuba. A foul call. It's going to go against Guatemala. Just a little elbow thrown there. Conrado Paredes, head coach on the other side for Guatemala. Sheila Vega looking to get open. Bounces it towards the midfield, poked out. Adolis has it taken away, a collision in the midfield, play on. Guatemala fighting for possession as it goes out wide. Diaz will get there. She won't actually, rolls out. Again, a very sunny, warm day in the Dominican Republic. Doesn't seem like there's any rain on the horizon, which is a great thing to see. Yesterday at the end of the night, Grenada and Costa Rica got kind of caught in a rainfall. Pretty much going into halftime, and it cleared up towards the end of that game. That game was an absolute blowout in Costa Rica's favor. 9-1 was the final score. Guatemala opts to go back to their keeper, Castellanos again. Seems like Cuba is putting on a press when they can. To backtrack wide and sent out of play to avoid disaster there for Guatemala. Diaz, service in, nobody home. And Castellanos will watch it roll out. We got a goal kick here coming for Guatemala. Again, Concacaf U17 championship. There's actually 4 teams that have already, of course there's teams that are in the process of clinching berths, but there's 4 teams that didn't have to play in the group stage. It's a couple of smaller countries, Guyana, Honduras, Curacao, and St. Kitts and Nevis. So they played in a separate tournament to qualify in order to move on to the round of 16. And so the teams that move on from this group stage will meet those 4 teams. Unfortunately for those 4 teams, the way that the setup is in this CONCACAF U17 tournament, it is those teams will face the #1 seeds, or the seeds that won their group in this stage. So while they don't have to play in this, they could be one and done. And so that's just kind of the way things were balanced. 20 teams at this level for the first time ever. It was supposed to happen in 2020. Of course, the pandemic hit, and so we're here in 2022 playing for a chance to get to the World Cup in India, the U17 level. Soto wins it back for Guatemala. Polanco, again captain today, out to the right flank. Accelerating on that far side is Flor Perla. Ends up with Cuba, quick little throw in. Diaz. Room to work. Who's gonna get there? Racing towards it, Montalvo, and diving to make that play is Castellanos. Seems like early what we're seeing from Cuba is Montalvo is the target up top. Sort of been all over the place, and when they can, they're going wide and then trying to cut it back to her in the center. Just a 6 minute of play. Bouncer goes wide and out, so it's a goal kick coming here. Jayla Hernandez opts with the little short kick. So the defense is set up 5-3-2. That's the formation for Cuba. So again, a little bit more defensive-minded, but I will say it's opening up a lot of space towards the top. And obviously they're going to have a lot of those defensive players come up offensively as well. But you can see it here, as everyone comes down, but originally the numbers are more towards the back for Cuba than the front. Ledesma in the 18, booted out here by Guatemala. Haven't seen a great shot yet for either team, and I said this yesterday in the Grenada-Costa Rica game, but a lot of times these teams just feeling each other out early. Left in the 18. Well, nutmeg. Trying to keep it in. Goal kick. RV Lago wanted a corner kick. It would be the first one. We haven't seen one yet for either team. Robert about to throw it in, and we'll see Guerra come up, the referee today, and she wants to talk to a pair of players on this near sideline. Just a little bit of a warning put on against Reynosa for Guatemala. So watch out. If she gets another one, she'll likely get a card. Center back. Out wide, bounces out, Cuba throwing. Sofia Morales playing center back for Guatemala today. Lots of defenders back for Cuba on that one. Right wing, not on time. So far, both teams are doing a really good job of seeing the seams, but it seems like just a little bit ahead of themselves. Maybe a little more patient on some of these plays. But there's been pockets of space, just have to connect on those passes. And again, a lot of that has to come with just early in a contest. Obviously, these countries don't play often, Cuba and Guatemala. And for a lot of these players at the U17 level, you know, this is international cap 2, because U17 is the youngest level at the on the women's side. Not a corner, but a good position here in the attacking third for Guatemala. And both teams did not score. That is a corner. I guess it bounced off at the last second. This is the first set piece we'll see either team run. Polanco, the captain today, will be the one to take it for Guatemala. Here's the kick. Headed towards the 6, and it goes out. Trying to keep it in, Cuba with the bounce around. Nice leading pass forward. Aguilera centers, goes wide with it. Vega. Again, with Cuba, the idea is there, right? It just needed a little bit more patience to make the pass. But if you're Paredes for Cuba, or excuse me, if you're Logal for Cuba, you must like what you're seeing early and the ideas that are there. Robert comes up. Everyone getting set right now as defender being told to take a step back for Guatemala. Trying to put it in the area. Aguilera fights for it. And we got a whistle before the shot, and it's a foul against Cuba. Looks like Aguilera will be charged with that. Like I said, Montalvo, wearing number 9 for Cuba, seems to be a pretty strong target. Was squaring up for a shot before that foul was called. Castellanos. Perla has it swiped towards the circle for Cuba. Square turn. Left out, being called off there, and Guatemala will just let it roll. In Canada and Bermuda playing right now as well, obviously at a different field. in the Dominican Republic. And Canada should win that game, but you never know. I'll keep you updated over the course of the game what the score is. Of course, we've seen a lot of blowouts early on, as we've got today, and then Wednesday, Thursday as well for just the group stage, and then a round of 16 takes place. After that, here's a good position for a free kick for Guatemala. Things have been fairly even so far. Yep, just a little trip. On the other end for Cuba, it was Jennifer Aguilera with that trip. So there's Jennifer Aguilera and there's Chanel Aguilera, by the way. One is on the defensive end, one on the forward line, so that will be the difference, and I'll try to kind of differentiate when I can. Polanco clearly is going to be the one to take these set pieces. Gets ready again. Line is drawn for Cuba. Being directed back in goal by Hernandez. Costa Rica scored a couple of times off of set pieces yesterday, so we'll see if that actually happens today in this Guatemala-Cuba game. Polanco rips one towards net. It goes right into that wall. Perla looks to reset from the back line. Not a lot of time to send that forward towards the area, though, for Guatemala. Triangle pass, intercepted. Got in front of that, did Sheila Vega. Montalvo. Aguilera, this is Chanel. Pushing and shoving, and Aguilera committed the foul, just trying to get position. Again, against Haiti, Cuba played a really solid game. It was just the final 10 minutes of the first half in which Haiti scored back-to-back goals. And Cuba just couldn't get on the board after that. In the area for Guatemala, charging forward. Perla sends it back in. Valenzuela off the crossbar, the second chance, it goes wide. That's a great look for Guatemala, Sarasota. Trying to one-time that in, just bounces out. No one with clear possession yet. Alphonso Soto there for Guatemala. Here's another look at this. Off the crossbar, the second chance. Hernandez was diving for it, but I think it was going to go wide anyway. Valenzuela, though. Really nice look. There she is again. Sends it to the right wing. Charging forward, last to touch. It's going to be back with Cuba. Again, neither team possessing very well so far. Looks like this will be a corner. Second one we've seen for Guatemala. We've seen a couple of set pieces, and they haven't gotten a great look. The last set piece was a free kick, and it went right into the wall built by Cuba. We'll see what happens here. Again, this is Polanco. Lofted in the air, headed out. I believe it was Aguilera who got a piece of that one. Trying to keep it in the attacking third. Booted forward. Chanel Aguilera. Pass to no one. Castellanos. And it seems like Cuba's trying to transition and they want to play quickly, but so far just going, like I said, a little bit too quickly. Not enough time to complete a pass. There was enough time there. That was nice. Pulled back. A little tripped up. Aggressive D. Perla up that right flank. Nice little play there on the far side by Franco for Cuba. We'll just move a couple of yards up to do the throw-in again. And we'll move a couple of yards up to do it again. So just a couple of throw-ins, and Cuba's been the last to touch. So third time's a charm. Good look into the 18 almost. Another throw-in coming here. Coming up to take this, Jamale. Montalvo can't get a good read on that. Again, this is the only thing with Cuba is because they're playing so many players back in their formation with 5 defenders. It does mean that they don't have numbers when they try to go the other way. Foul called. Reynosa with a free kick from pretty far out there. Can't penetrate the area. Montalvo going the other way. Here she comes. Get through one defender. Trying to get through the other. A swarm of Guatemalan jerseys around her. But she does retain possession with Cuba. Soaring through the air, that wasn't very close. But again, an attacking opportunity for Cuba. We've mostly been, so far in this first half, in the opening about 20 minutes, we've been in Guatemalan's half most of the time. Played through the air. Robert for Cuba. Montalvo was open, but I think she's going to the sideline right now. Looks like she's in a little bit of pain. Aguilera can't get the angle. Scoreless so far between Cuba and Guatemala. This is the Concacaf U17 Women's Championships. Again, it's all about making the World Cup in India later this year at the U17 level. Of course, at the senior level, the World Cup is in 2023, and that's in Australia and New Zealand. Yeah, that's Montalva again, dealing with an injury off the field right now. She was the attacker with the most momentum for Cuba. Interested to see if she comes back or if they have to replace her. yeah, there's already 7 teams that have qualified for the World Cup, 7 countries at the U17 level. India hosting, of course, China, New Zealand, Brazil, Chile, and Colombia. Already know that they're going to India later this year, and that is the point of this Concacaf U17 championship. Top 2 teams in the final qualify, and so does the winner of the 3rd place game. So out of this, 3 teams will officially know that they're going to the World Cup. And everyone playing in this CONCACAF U17 is born in 2005 or 2006 pretty much, and so I mean, these players are so young, and what an opportunity to say that you get to play for your nation and potentially go to the World Cup at such a young age. It's just an absolute dream, and then so many of these players will move on to play professional soccer. Aguilera trying to split the D, keeps it on her foot, surveys. Paz can't find a lane. All the way back. Hernandez switches fields towards the near side. Jennifer Aguilera, change of direction and speed. Soto for Guatemala. Across. Unsuccessful there, but a good idea from Guatemala. Chamale steps back. Ready for the toss. And we'll do it again from Guatemala, just stepping back a little. It's been hard to get in the 18 for both teams. And Guatemala, like I said a little earlier, they've been in the attacking third for the bulk of the game, but they haven't been able to get into that 18. A lot of it is because there's so many Cuba players back there, but also the touches just haven't been exactly on point and haven't been on the same page with each other. Nice cutoff there by Cuba. Ledesma, a little crowded on the far side. Odalis, up the middle, right back with Guatemala. Polanco goes to work, Aguilera denies. Soto. Polanco, back to Soto on the left wing. One touch. Unsuccessful tackle. Here's a cross. A little bit of a weak clearance there. Polanco keeps it in the 18. She gets fouled. And the question was she in the 18 or just a hair out? Looks like just a hair out. Got a foot in. Little shove there by Odalis. As we'll take a cooling break between Cuba and Guatemala. Yeah, it's not as muggy and humid as it was yesterday, but it's still very hot. It's about 90 degrees, pushing 90 degrees in the Dominican Republic, so obviously they're going to be extra careful with that. So we had a slight little cooling break before this free kick. It is not a PK. It was ever so close to being one, but it's a great position here for Guatemala, looking for goal number 1 in the CONCACAF tournament. Polanco will be the one to take. See everyone setting up towards that far post. Hernandez gets ready. In net, Polanco with the kick. Far post, and so close. But off there is Reynoso on the header. She was the intended target and just mistimed that slightly. They'll take another hydration break as well. Absolutely necessary. Like I said, extremely hot. These are intense games, and right now we're locked in a battle. No one's separated themselves between Cuba and Guatemala, scoreless at the moment. Played about a half an hour, not quite, but about a half an hour. And it seems like Guatemala has had the best looks, but haven't capitalized yet, and they really haven't taken too many quality shots against Hernandez. And obviously, when you're not able to capitalize, but you dominate possession time, just opens it up for, you know, a kind of fluky goal against a run of play, a mistake, and then all of a sudden you're down 1-0. So if you're Guatemala and you, at the moment, are in charge of possession time, you got to take advantage. Hopping around, Soto controls off her right foot. Polanco. Sails in the air. Pushed out. With some room to work. Right wing, left out wide for Vega. Nice job there by Reynosa to get back just in time. Robert. Montalvo turns, squares, and she's off. Good to see her back in after taking a break. Just kind of limped to the sideline. She returns. Canada taking on Bermuda. They're at pretty much the same place that we are, approaching the half-hour mark. And it's 1-0, Canada up on Bermuda. Here's a takeaway. Montalvo has a look. Collides with the keeper, and covering it up for Guatemala is Castellanos. Montalvo is down right now. Let's see this. Just mistimed, misplayed by Diaz. Montalvo right into the legs of Castellanos. And the second chance are both in an awkward spot. Castellanos has the wherewithal to get up and cover it, as we'll need the training staff to come out here. Definitely both knocked lower bodies, for sure. Take another look. Initial nutmeg. Colliding, yeah, it's just awkward there for Montalvo. And I'm not sure too, because remember she had exited. I'm not sure if it's, you know, re-aggravating an injury that she had already had. Looks like she's not gonna need the stretcher at least, so that's a good sign if you're Cuba. But it is Guatemala possession after that stop from Castellanos. Again, read it well, cut it off, then got up and made the second save off a rebound. No one was collapsing for Cuba. Otherwise, that could have been a goal. We haven't seen an influx of shots from either team. Guatemala 2-1 in that category, but here comes Soto up the left wing. And two defenders all over her. Still wins out and keeps it with Guatemala. Robert, see her out there. Polanco. Nobody's ball yet. That's a foul against Guatemala. Just a little tugging going on. Valenzuela had the best look that we've seen in this half off the crossbar. Soto was almost there for the finish and just couldn't tap it in. But that's the best shot that we've seen so far in this match between Cuba and Guatemala. Odalise. Chanel Aguilera. Well, we got a collision foul there. Let's see who it goes against. It's going to go against Guatemala, so Cuba will keep it. Let's see, pretty 50-50, yeah, so ran in, pulled her down as well. Ledesma's up there. Aguilera was talking to her for a heartbeat. As Hernandez back in net on the other side for Cuba. Talks to her teammates. This is the first set piece that we've seen Cuba have. It's pretty far out. Could run something nice. Lofted in. Headed out of trouble. Trying to keep it in the 18. Angle cut off and a goal kick here for Castellanos. Interested to see what adjustments are made at halftime for both of these teams to just try to open things up offensively. Especially for Cuba because possession time just hasn't been there as much. Robert. Polanco. Here's Soto. Bounces it off the defender on the far side. And it's a corner kick. So another opportunity for Guatemala. Again, these set pieces haven't looked particularly great, except for I think the last one that they had. It was a free kick just outside the 18. It was a beautiful cross and just mistimed on a head from Reynoso, but the intention and the play was really nice. So we'll see what they run here on this corner. It's usually Polanco taking it, and she'll do it again. Again, the captain for Guatemala gets set. Looking to separate themselves, heading into halftime, crossing in. But cutting that off is Hernandez back in goal. Again, intended for the back post. Didn't get there. We got a trip. Goes against Soto. Well, it's going to stay with Cuba. So far, a clean sheet for both Cuba and Guatemala's keepers. Gave you the numbers and shots. They haven't changed since I last said it. 2-1 in Guatemala's favor. Montalvo's back in the game. Racing towards it, splits the D, but boots it out. She definitely has, you know, spurts of energy and is electric when she's in. It seems like I said, intention's always to get it to her. Left for her. Off balance. Kept with Robert. Here Paredes for Guatemala, talking to Sofia Morales, one of the defenders. There she is. Montalvo. Aguilera. Volley. Way high. Again, we're approaching 3 halves for both of these teams in the Concacaf U17 championship without a goal. Like I mentioned, no one scored against Haiti, no one scored against El Salvador. So, see if that changes today. Obviously, just moving forward, that would be extremely important, as we got a foul there. Pretty obvious one, committed by Cuba's Vega. And she's going to get a warning from Guerrero. Yep, just tripped her, wasn't going for the ball or anything, but down in some pain is Reynoso. Did go kind of flying through the air. Cut her legs out from underneath her and landed on her hand a little awkwardly. Yeah, it seems to be what's bothering her. So we've had a couple of injuries, one for each team. It's good to see Reynoso on her feet, still kind of nursing that arm. Training staff making sure she's good to go before they allow her to stay in this game. We will definitely have a few minutes of stoppage time here in the first half between Cuba and Guatemala. Like I said, because of those injuries, there's been a significant amount of fouls too. Nothing crazy, but it's been a pretty physical game. Fouls are 5-4. Cuba has more than Guatemala. Morales. Reynoso will throw it in. She's all clear. Logo, see him there on the bottom of your screen for Cuba, talking to his team. Polanco muscling through. Soto, kept in by Reynoso. Sneaks through, back with Cuba. Montalvo. Her and Aguilera tag team to get that out wide. Ledesma fighting through a couple of defenders. Kept too long. Diaz back in the attacking third. Here's a great chance for Cuba. Set something up and get a great look heading into the end of the half. It's not a corner. It's a decent position for a throw in. They go backwards towards Franco. Franco puts it in the 18. That bounced off a defender. Close to a handball, I think. Sent up the middle. Aguilera trying to get the header down. Still fighting. Works through one defender. Here's a chance for Cuba and a slow roller up to Castellanos. Ledesma there with a decent look. And if you're Cuba, you know, more you can just put some pressure on Castellanos, the better. Get her moving. See if you can get a rebound. Too far out for Soto to get, so Robert and Cuba will gain possession. Again, Caritza Guerrero, today's referee, out of Honduras. Left for Montalvo, a couple of defenders there. She got boxed out. Castellanos coming off her goal line there for Cuba, or excuse me, for Guatemala. Last couple of minutes, Cuba's gotten, 2 shots off. Montalvo had 1, and that's bumped their shot total up to 3. Guatemala has just 2. And again, neither team took a lot of shots against Haiti or El Salvador. In fact, said this before, but Guatemala only got 5 off total in the game against El Salvador. Some arc on that one. Headed down. Montalvo has some green. Defense beats her there. Soto, left flank. Robert with a tackle and stays with Guatemala. Moving quickly. Service in. And that one has to be sent out of trouble by Franco. Franco and the defense have been really good for Cuba. Again, that's where they're putting the bulk of their players back on the back line with 5. You see virtually the whole team here right now. Soto out on the goal line. Hernandez to her captain. Ledesma. Well, Dalis has to backtrack a little bit. Montalvo in a circle. Polanco sent it to Robert for Cuba. We're approaching stoppage time. Heard the official word on how long it's going to be. Looks like 3 minutes of stoppage time for Cuba and Guatemala. Polanco runs into a couple of legs. Oh, she's got some room. Franco sends it back to her keeper and Hernandez on her feet. Odalis. Slice through. Montalvo has space in the 18. 1v1, she scores! Cuba on the board in stoppage time. She's been the target in this first half, and just like that, Montalvo finds a seam, takes it herself. This all comes from a great pass again. They go wide first, cut through, sliding look. Montalvo right in front, doesn't go offside, and just a nice little tap in. Goes with a far corner look. Coming out was Castellanos, but Montalvo gets Cuba on the board, and it's 1-0 as we approach the very end of the first half. That's a first goal for Cuba in the Concacaf U17 championship. Looking for the brace. She's at it again. 2 defenders. And she can't break through the angles there. Well, I'm sure they're very glad that Montalvo's been able to play. Weren't sure she had gone down for Cuba a little bit early in the first half, and then again. Anichi Montalvo, goal number 1. Franco is dealing with something down. Remember, it's extremely hot right now. Tight contest. And they'll get the training staff out here. Also a chance for a quick little hydration break for both teams. Again, it's about to be the end of the first half, but a stoppage time finish from Montalvo. And it was Guatemala who was kind of in control in the first half of the first half, and it's changed. Here Cuba put on a couple of nice shots, got some set pieces as Franco runs towards the sideline. I don't think she's gonna officially come out yet. Looks like she's all right. And then just kind of the change of momentum was capped off by that goal from Montalvo and Cuba. Now the Cuban national team leads. Castellanos. Reynosa. She's got control. Polanco, Reynosa in a little triangle with Soda. Franco's back in. Defense shifts. Yeah, so now when you look at the shape for Cuba, the initial 5 defenders back is more 4 defenders back. But anyway, Cuba with the late strike in the first half, it's a stoppage time goal from the Cuban national team. Fantastic finish. Montalvo puts Cuba up 1-0. Guatemala is still searching for goal number 1 in the Concacaf U17 Women's Championship. We'll see what happens in the second half. Highlights and all that good stuff coming up in just a few.
conducta discriminatoria no está permitida. Le pedimos que respeten los principios de fair play y que tomen parte del fútbol con espíritu de unidad, respeto e igualdad. Digan no a la discriminación. No te pierdas el campeonato femenino de Concacaf que comienza el 4 de julio en Concacaf, México. Únete a la acción donde los mejores equipos de la región lucharán por un lugar en el Mundial 2020.
Welcome back, Women's Under-17 Championship in Concacaf game. This time it's Cuba and Guatemala. Guatemala starts things off. Here's a great look off the top. Crossbar Soto's there for the retaliation. No, denied. Hernandez got a good arm on that one. You see this look again as Valenzuela inches away. Really, really awesome shot. It's the best shot, pure shot, that we've seen so far in this game, as Guatemala with their best chance to score a goal. The opposite way, here's a chance. Montalvo going head-to-head with a center back and then takes on the keeper in Castellanos, and it's the keeper that wins out. You see that nice little feed, slips through, tries to finish. She was off balance. Gets injured on that play, but then re-enters the game, and then here is where the magic happens for Cuba. Montalvo again, off to the races, taps it home. Great job here, first of all, on this feed, but then entering the 18, realizing she had to make a move, and just goes and opts for the light little touch. Beautiful. Montalvo puts Cuba up 1-0. This is in stoppage time. And that's where we sit right now. Cuba with a fantastic finish at the very end of the second half. And that's where we sit. It is a 1-0 game. Cuba up on Guatemala. Here are the stats. Cuba with 7-4 advantage in shots. Kind of surprising, but they turned it up a notch at the very end. And you see that Guatemala has been dominating possession time, and yet they're down 1-0. I talked about the danger of that, so we'll see if Guatemala can actually capitalize on their possession time. Again, Cuba up 1-0 on Guatemala. We will have the second half action after this.
I went from maybe I can to I know I will. From isn't she cute to fight. Coaches who seem stuck on we can now say we did. From women's football to every 90 minutes, I'm reminded we belong.
Welcome back. Second half, Concacaf U17 Women's Championship. We've got Cuba and Guatemala locked in a tight one right now. It's a 1-0 lead for Cuba, and it all came in stoppage time. So Cuba kind of turned things around at the end of the second half, and in stoppage time, in a transition play, got a great feed from Ledesma, sent it inside to a streaking down Montalvo, and that's where we are right now. Montalvo with the lone goal. Again, she was a little banged up throughout this game and still found a way to find the back of the net, and that's where we are. So we'll see if Guatemala has an answer or not, as you see Cuba in red, and then on the other side, Guatemala is in white. If you're watching during halftime, we saw the stats, and possession time was in favor of Guatemala by 54%. And I think it was even higher than that in the very beginning of the game. Just unable to actually score a goal. The best chance was Brianna Valenzuela. Hit one right off the top of the crossbar, off a rebound. Soto was there and just couldn't connect to find the back of the net. So it's not like Guatemala hasn't had chances. They have, and now find themselves playing from behind. Both teams looking for, obviously, a decision, but also a draw wouldn't be the end of the world. But if you're Guatemala, just looking forward, having, if both teams, let's say both teams draw and then lose, well, Guatemala lost 6-0 to El Salvador, and Cuba lost just 2-0 to Haiti. So, I mean, obviously there's plenty of time in the group stage, but, the percentage, or excuse me, the number of goals in which you give up does matter. And remember, the bottom 4 teams in each group does not move on. Well, it's really important to stay out of that cellar. All right, some subs coming in. Looks like Cuba will send in Melanie Pino and also Rut Vargas. So some fresh legs for the Cuban national team as Vargas will start things off. Back to Aguilera. It looks like, just initial looks, that Montalvo comes out for Cuba. Guatemala also making a sub. Marroquin comes in. We got a PK coming. Wow, right off the bat, Guatemala with a costly error in their own end. Ledesma gets a trip called against Guatemala's new addition, and Marroquin. Yeah, so just basically, I mean, kneed her in the chest. That's an obvious foul. And now a chance for a 2-0 lead for Cuba. This would be crucial. Ledesma will take it. Dalia Ledesma sets up. In net is Castellanos for Guatemala, looking to make a very timely save and keep this a 1-0 score. Ledesma got it. Cuba's up 2-0. A penalty kick to start the second half. And Cuba takes a big lead. That's a second goal of the year for the Cuban national team here in the Concacaf Women's Championship. Again, they got shut out against Haiti. Take a look at this. Beautiful. Low corner, right side. Nice little celebration. Ledesma with goal number 1 for her. And again, it was Montalvo who scored really just minutes ago in stoppage time. It was 45th minute plus 1 minute of stoppage time when Montalvo scored. And now in the 47th minute, we see Cuba get back on the board with a penalty kick. That makes all the difference. Just a lot more cushion here for Cuba. And also it just means that Guatemala might play a little bit more desperately, be more prone to mistakes, because really need to score soon. Mayor Queen turns it over. Aguilera tries to win it back. Cuba with control. Long ball. Cut off nicely. Mayor Queen just committed that foul in the box. Aguilera deflected in the air, soaring through. Lands with Cuba. Odalis in the midfield, up ahead. Ledesma with that PK goal. Out in the corner, plays with it. Dumps it off to Diaz. Diaz right into a defender. Franco, she went down and got some attention from the training staff, but came back in pretty quickly after that initial discomfort, I should say. Godoy back for this free kick for Guatemala. Again, they don't have a goal yet in a game and a half. We only played a half here in the Dominican Republic, so there's still plenty of time. And El Salvador and Haiti will play tonight at 7 Eastern time. So if you're, looking for how this group is going to play out, these are the only two teams in the group that have almost nearly 2 games under their belt. So we won't really have a great picture of who's going to win the group until tonight. And again, it's the top 3 teams. Montalvo's in, and she lets it rip for Cuba. So again, she wasn't subbed out, she was just moved. She still lets it rip. Their left foot. Decent look there. Right now she is a game winner. Of course, there's plenty of time, but that was desperately needed for Cuba. And, I do a lot of professional soccer. We talk about this a lot, but it's so disheartening to be the team that gave up a goal in stoppage time. You had a draw going right there, anybody's game, and then something like that happens. Can really knock the wind out of a team. We got a foul there, and we'll get our first card of this game. It's going to go against Cuba's Aguilera, excuse me. That's Jennifer Aguilera. And then down in pain is Valenzuela. Yeah, just a tackle right into her shins. Valenzuela in a lot of pain. Dangerous play there. First yellow card we've seen. Again, Jennifer Aguilera picks that one up. Might be a good time to check the other game going on right now. It is a 3-0 lead for Canada over Bermuda. They just started the second half as well. And again, remember, coming up tonight, mentioned Haiti and El Salvador. And then in the other group, Dominican Republic and Jamaica also playing at 7 o'clock Eastern time, of course. And then the teams that played yesterday, like Costa Rica, United States, Panama, Puerto Rico, all those teams will play Wednesday And these teams will play Thursday. And that's the end of the group stage. Hernandez in net, gets ready. That yellow card has resulted in a free kick and a decent spot. Polanco, Soto up top. Soto's gonna be the one to take it with her left foot, serviced in towards the back post, and it hops to Hernandez. Aguilera. Mayor Queen has to send it out of trouble. Again, it was that battle, Ledesma and Mayor Queen, that caused the penalty. Mayor Queen just basically kneed her in the chest, the stomach, trying to put on a legal tackle. That's a handball. Into the arm of Aguilera. Back to play some D. Now she's been being told to back up a little bit. Amina Godoy. Searching for options. Here's that press again for Cuba. Franco, little box out, stays with Guatemala. Marroquin. Valenzuela last to touch. Someone's brought a horn for this one in the Dominican Republic. That's where all the games are taking place this week, the first round. So it's not like the women's Concacaf qualifiers at the senior level where each team gets a home game. Actually, 2 home games in the group stage. As there's a foul there. Polanco is down in pain. Not a card, but a warning coming for Chanel Aguilera. She says she's got it. She understands. Let's see this. Yeah, just didn't get ball, got shin. Taking the brunt of that was Polanco, and another set piece opportunity here for Guatemala. We'll see if they make something of it. They've absolutely dominated in terms of getting set pieces compared to Cuba, and yet no goals. Hernandez switches things up, so they'll put Maltavo Ledesma right in front here. Just a step in front of the 18. Arc on that one towards the back post. Sent out. Ping-ponging around right now. Robert in the midfield, accidentally touched. Ledesma, Aguilera. You know, in the first half, Cuba was struggling to kind of make those connections. And of course, the intention was there. And oftentimes they were trying to transition up to a streaking Montalvo, and I mean, that's how they scored. But it was not working at first. The idea was there, but some of the passes were off. Things look a little cleaner for Cuba. And I think the possession time is evened out because of that. Still think for both teams, the clearances haven't had much purpose to them. So some of the clearances, besides the one goal from Montalva, haven't really led to any offensive opportunities. Here's a cross, though, headed out. Great look. Awesome look. Vargas. That's a tough finish if she would have been able to get that, but obviously your body is facing forward. You have to move your head the opposite way. You saw a goal like that in the Costa Rica-Grenada game yesterday and the United States game, but they are not easy to pull off. Well, that's a great set piece run by Cuba, the best one they've had so far today. Aguilera. Up the right flank. A race to the finish, that's a shove from behind. Eager to get there, but a little over-eager is Vargas. Just took out Godoy in the process. I mean, first their feet got tangled. I thought it was more of a shove when I initially saw it. Really, it was just a tangle of the feet, if that's a phrase. Aguilera. Up that left flank this time. Ledesma gets tackled there. Marroquin with a nice play. Stops momentum on Cuba's end. Franco. Valenzuela. Pass Jennifer Aguilera, but the second chance stop. All those red jerseys for Cuba. Here's the pressure. Ledesma has the PK. Or an Aguilera going, looking to give, oh, tangled up there myself, but looking for a give and go. Didn't quite work. Godoy. Been more active here in the second half, Godoy. Out the throw in. Towards the area. Polanco. We got a corner for Guatemala. Again, Paredes for Guatemala. Conducting the set piece opportunity. Polanco will take it, of course. She has always been, except for once, it was Soto. A rocket in the area falling down on that header on the far side. Guatemala can't make anything of it. Tapped out, kept in. Polanco putting on the press, gets juked out. Near side one touch. Ledesma. Centers. To the intended target. Diaz back to play some defense, but unable to keep it in. Valenzuela gave her best effort for Guatemala. We'll have another sub come in here for Cuba. Cordero will come in, Jennifer Cordero. Now she goes, Aguilera comes out. So Chanel Aguilera's day is done. She was a nuisance all over the field for Cuba. It's able to, again, help calm this Cuban team down a little bit. Settle into the game nicely. Now up 2-0. A goal to end the first half and a goal to start the second half, as we definitely got some pushing and shoving going. Just some frustration there from Valenzuela. And if you are Guatemala, you have to be frustrated. You had this game right where you wanted it, and again, it just fell apart within minutes. Aguilera up the middle. Montalvo. Aguilera, nice tackle there. Stops any sort of surge. There's a shot from way out. Covered up. Hernandez looking at a clean sheet. We still got plenty of time. Franco. Ledesma. Ledesma again, near side. Marquine. Turn in square. Left out for Perla. Franco beats through. Still on this right side. And just, you can tell Valenzuela's frustrated. She's kind of shoving when she gets the ball. And now she's in a little bit of pain. And credit to Cuba. I mean, look, they have played a fairly physical game and have a yellow card in this game. But it's been very annoying to Guatemala in a good way, sort of gotten in Guatemala's heads a little bit, just the physicality. And that was a case against El Salvador too for Guatemala. Montalvo. Vargas cuts it back. Ledesma can't get there. Perla. Can she connect? Valenzuela. Franco timed that well. She has been really, really solid in the back line for Cuba. I mean, these backs have been in general, but clearly wearing the captain's armband, Franco is the most trusted back at that center back spot. She's really been all over the field to just kind of silence, really in this, especially the second half, any sort of build up like Guatemala's trying to put together. Polanco, Perla. Marquine. Montalvo all the way out towards the midfield and then some. A retreat for the backs for Guatemala. A 2-0 lead for Cuba and a mishap there. Going the other way. Vargas threads it through the middle and we got a frustration foul against Guatemala. Godoy with that shove. A set piece here for Cuba. Guerra, just make sure everyone's good. Oh, it's been a well-officiated game. Ledesma, again, had the last goal for Cuba. She'll take this free kick and she goes straight to net. And it soars through. Perla has it deflected off of Diaz. Franco ahead. Ledesma, near corner. She's got a nice move. That's how they scored the goal. Just juked out to the defender with that simple move there. And found some separation, was able to find Montalva, who was going up the middle. Franco with an illegal tackle. Again, sometimes these tackles for Cuba, who definitely has more fouls than Guatemala, have been ill-advised and obviously are clear trips and clips and whatever you want to call it, but yeah. So that's a second yellow card, by the way, for Cuba, and the first for Franco. Canada still, I mean, it's not tight, but it's 3-0 with Bermuda. The Canada team that many would argue are the top 3 team in this tournament. Bermuda's hanging with them. We're about 70 minutes left. Or excuse me, we're about 70 minutes into that one, so about 20 minutes left. Pretty much they're on the same timeline we are. Reneso, yeah, I mean, again, with some of these tackles here for Cuba. There's gonna be some bruises for some Guatemala players for sure. But it's worked for Cuba, you know? It's been successful, this style of play. Turnover, Diaz, a couple of nice touches. Polanco, a foul. This one goes against Cordero. Polanco's down. Just some other stats for you. Shots in favor of Cuba, 8-3. Again, I mentioned the 2 yellow cards. The fouls are 12-7. Cuba obviously is more. Guatemala has more corner kicks, 4-1. Felt like they all kind of came in succession at the beginning of the first half. Polanco circles through. This little swerving move, headed out, great idea, but Diaz gets there first. Up the middle, Vargas whiffs. We got a whistle and a player down for Cuba. It is a foul called against Cuba. That's why the initial whistle came, but unable to see who that is. But a training staff is going to come out here to aid. (2-0) is the score. Cuba up on Guatemala again. Just a couple of minutes, and Cuba took a comfortable lead as Ledesma, who has one of those goals, the only one here in the second half. It was a penalty kick off a foul in the box, and she buried it. Ballooned the lead to 2. And again, at the very end of that first half, it was Montalvo who scored. So we really haven't seen much action from either team besides those little moments, but obviously that's the difference in this game. I wouldn't call it a commanding Cuban performance. It's not like the United States or Costa Rica performances yesterday where, I mean, the other team really didn't have much of a chance. This is not like that at all. All it's just taken was really a couple of defensive lapses for Guatemala. I mean, it was a great ball put on by Ledesma. She picked up that assist to Montalvo. And then in the box, an unnecessary foul. But again, important to point out, it's U17 level, amateur players playing for their country. It's just such a great experience. And well, these players are so young. There's all this time to develop and grow, and you know, we'll see a lot of these players on their senior national team someday. So This is something that they'll talk about for a long time, just the experience to come to the Dominican Republic and represent their country, as we get a cooling break. Again, very necessary. You see kind of sprinkled throughout these cooling breaks because it is pushing 90 degrees in the Dominican Republic right now. So Haiti and El Salvador coming up at 7 o'clock. Right here on this very pitch in San Cristobal, Dominican Republic, and then Dominican Republic and Jamaica will play at 7 as well, on the same field that Canada and Bermuda are playing on right now. In the 75th minute, Canada just scored again, up 4-0 on Bermuda. And again, tomorrow, some of the matches coming up, Puerto Rico, Grenada, that'll be interesting because the winner of that moves on. The winner, or the loser, does not. Costa Rica and the United States will be fighting for that first position in the round of 16, or to get that one seed, if you will, in the group, because both teams are undefeated right now. And again, the winners of each group will play the teams that already qualified, like St. Kitts and Nevis. Looking for the brace. Here's a chance in the 6, off the bar. So close there from Montalvo. Ledesma's down. She had just been down prior to that. Let's look. Off her line. Nice tackle there. Castellanos. A little bit of a shove from Godaway after that, as Ledesma again needs the training staff. Definitely had a lot of injuries in this game. As Ledesma is helped off, doesn't need the stretcher. Sent in towards Montalvo. Left side, slips past Vargas. Cleared out. Guatemala just looking to survive this little onslaught here. Vargas can't get in the 18. Montalvo can. Here's a chance. Can't get a shot off. Look at all those white and blue jerseys in the box. And ultimately, they went out. Cordero was in the mix there for Cuba. Didn't have numbers in that situation, though. About 15 minutes left in this one, a little less than that. Of course, we'll have stoppage time, though, so probably more like 15. I think we'll have a fair amount of stoppage time here in the second half. We have 3 minutes in the first. Diaz. Hernandez one-times that. To the midfield, Polanco sneaks by, takes a shot, and it goes right to the keeper in Hernandez. Ricochets out. Guatemala going the other way. Can't pick up enough steam. Karen Gonzalez up the middle. Haven't seen too much of her today, but had a nice little chance there. Defense collapsed though for Cuba. Sub coming in for Cuba. Castillo will come in. Yesela Castillo. And it looks like Odalis will come out for Cuba. Looking ahead, a whistle off the ball as Guatemala's frustrations continue. Offside is called. I actually haven't seen a lot of that in this game. Hear the wind picking up. Overall, though, a very beautiful day for soccer, albeit a little hot in the Dominican Republic. Chance. A weak pass out. Perla swerves around and Cuba reads it well. Vargas tripped up on a foul's called against Gade. Yellow card, that's the first one against Guatemala. Remember, while Cuba is the team that has fouled more, Guatemala has the most costly foul in the box that led to the PK to make it 2-0. Yep, would have had an open lane. That's a trip, luckily she's all right, Vargas. I've liked her though, Vargas, a new addition here in the second half. I think she's just had a ton of energy as that's an unfortunate collision of legs there. Kind of down in some pain is, I think it's Chamale for Guatemala. And basically just swinging for that was Castillo. I think she got more leg than she did ball. I heard that one pretty well. Aguilara dumps it off to her keeper, Hernandez. Swings it up top. Montalvo. Big boot all the way ahead to Vargas, who's offside. Guerra with, again, a little bit of a motion to just settle for both these teams. Adriana Pop will come in for Guatemala. Not yet. Oh, she comes in. Soto's gonna come out. Soto played a really solid game for Guatemala. Up on that left wing mostly. Robert just taps it back to her keeper. Hernandez has been a steady force back there for Cuba, and now she's in some pain. I think she has a cramp. Gonna get helped out by Aguilara. said this, but it's very, very hot, and this is a tough tournament. Lots of games played in a short amount of time for everybody. Both teams played already on Sunday, and then they'll play again on Thursday. That's a quick turnaround. Concacaf U17 Women's Championship. See if we can check on that score. As not really able to tell what that is and why Hernandez went down, but just something was bothering her before she took the goal kick. Now she looks all right. But yeah, Canada, Bermuda still 4-0. That's the only other game going on right now. Again, I expect a lot of stoppage time here in the second half. All right, so Hernandez is good to go. Rainbow on the throw-in. Vargas, nice touch. Tracking and covering is the keeper in Castellanos, but again, just the connections have been so much better for Cuba. Definitely in the second half, but really ever since they scored that initial goal, things have looked a lot crisper, cleaner, been on the same page a little bit more. Been more on the attack as well. Maybe they just need that first goal to feel a little more comfortable in the game. I'm not sure. Polanco racing towards it. She'll get the throw in here after Franco boots it out. Wow, still unable to really get past Franco. And just that one good look in the box from Venezuela in the first half. Other than that, I mean, really time spent in the box has been limited for Guatemala. Some of the advanced statistics show, touches in the box. We don't have that here, but that was a decent shot. Hit the back of the net from Polanco, lets it fly from deep. Hernandez. Slow pass. Up the flank and out. Just a couple of minutes to go here. Cuba, Guatemala. This is just the group stage. Again, the round of 16. Vargas putting on some pressure. Round of 16 will happen after this. And some teams have already clinched, like the United States, like Mexico. Perla will cross in. That's another thing that we just haven't seen too much of from either team. Not a lot of services or crosses. Here's a good one. Well, bouncer, Hernandez stops it last second. Boy, that could have been a goal from Guatemala as Venezuela again right in front. She was in the 6 charging in, and then I think what's happening here is Jennifer Aguilera and Hernandez both ran straight into each other trying to save this. So I think there was confusion who's going to get it, and then everyone collides, frankly. Aguilera down for Cuba. start here from Diaz and Cuba. Seems safe to say that barring some sort of magic here from Guatemala, Cuba is going to get win number 1 here in the group stage. And that would probably put them in a good position to move on. Unless Guatemala is able to win their next game. Again, the key is to not finish last in your group. Other than that, you're all right. So on Thursday, upcoming games, Haiti and Guatemala, that's going to be tough because remember, transitive property here. But if Haiti beat Cuba 2-0 and Cuba beat Guatemala 2-0, that's just on paper though. And then El Salvador and Cuba will match up as well. El Salvador 6-0 victory over Guatemala earlier on Sunday. But Haiti and El Salvador at 7, that should be good, and that might decide kind of who wins the group. Valenzuela towards net. It goes right into Hernandez, who's just been dealing with some stuff the last couple of minutes. We're almost at the very end. We're headed towards stoppage time. Seems like she's just a little banged up. Obviously been in goal the whole time. Head by Franco. Again, his back line is looking at a clean sheet right now. Just have to stave off Guatemala for a little bit longer. 4 minutes of stoppage time. As expected, a decent amount. We'll have a sub come in for Guatemala. Estrada will come in, Kini Estrada. And she's gonna take out Chamale. Polanco down to the pitch. Foul called on Cuba. Cuera going to break something up. Ledesma. He's getting a little stern talking to. So again, Cuba did not get on the board until stoppage time of the first half. A minute into stoppage time. And Talvo with the score sort of broke out and took off. Castellanos came up, basically 1v, it was 1v1. Had to make a decision, dove one side, Montalvo went the other way. Ledesma came back for the second half, got fouled in the box, and was able to knock in the PK. No, that's the 2 goals for Cuba. Again, 45th minute, essentially, from Montalvo, and then Ledesma in the 47th minute, so right away after the halftime break. And that's it. I mean, it all just happened in a couple of minutes, and ever since then, Guatemala seems a little drained. And again, I think for Guatemala, they both just happened at really tough times because, you know, just seemed a little off their game to start the half and to end the half. But other than that, played really evenly with you. Valenzuela still looking for hers. She's had the best opportunities of anyone, and she just beats Franco. Beautiful slide by Robert, clean. Corner coming for Guatemala. Might be the final set piece we see in this one. Polanco back to take it. Circled in, Hernandez hits it out. Nearly out of the 18. Montalvo with a foul there. She just was going for a head in the air, but absolutely destroyed in the process. Guatemala's new player in Kini Estrada. I don't think that was, again, wasn't intentional, but definitely barreled through her. So, alas, it was not the last set piece, that corner. We'll see another one here. Polanco looking to give Guatemala its first goal here in the Concacaf U17 Women's Championship. And still scoreless through almost 4 halves. Polanco straight to net, and it goes behind. And that's a final whistle. Cuba ends the first half with a goal and starts the second half with a PK, beating Guatemala 2-0 in the group stage. It's a first win for Cuba, and Guatemala is still without a win. Montalvo, Ledesma, those are the difference makers for Cuba in this one.
Bueno, Briana Valenzuela de la Selección Nacional de Guatemala. Briana, a pesar de que no dejaste de correr y luchaste, se llevan un resultado adverso.
Sí, creo que nos toca pasar la derrota. Creo que tal vez el esfuerzo fue bastante, pero el rival hizo lo que tenía que hacer y aprovechó las oportunidades, aunque nosotros jugamos de la mejor manera, tuvimos la pelota el mayor tiempo, ellas supieron aprovechar los espacios que tuvieron y pues así se da la victoria para ellas.
Es una competencia muy dura. ¿Qué enseñanza te deja a ti particularmente?
Me deja de enseñanza que uno no tiene que parar de correr los 90 minutos. Es más, si son 110 minutos, pues uno no tiene que parar. Estuvimos contratiempo. Creo que esto me deja de lección que tengo que seguir trabajando. Tengo que seguir siendo fuerte y sé que vienen cosas positivas para mí y para mi equipo.
Ya por último, a intentar sacar la victoria en el último partido de grupo, ¿no?
Sí, es lo único que nos queda, sacar la victoria, hacerlo de la mejor manera, trabajar como hoy trabajamos y pues nada, seguir para adelante.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias a ustedes.
Nos encontramos con Dalia Ledesma de la Selección Nacional de Cuba. Dalia, pues al final un resultado importante que las mete en la pelea para la clasificación, ¿no?
Sí, desde el primer minuto que sonó el silbato salimos a hacer un buen partido, como lo que nos dijo los entrenadores, y al final nos salió.
¿Qué se siente meter gol en una competencia tan importante como esta?
Para mí es un buen orgullo porque así me ayudo yo personalmente, ayudo a mi equipo y creo que podemos clasificar.
Se van motivadas, ¿no? De obtener una victoria. El próximo partido pueden estar en la siguiente ronda.
Sí, claro, el próximo partido, cada partido que pasa ahí se queda. El próximo que viene a seguir jugando y a seguir haciendo lo que nosotros sabemos y confío en mi equipo.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias a ustedes.
Gracias. ¿Listo, hermano, ya? Gracias.
All right, let's take a look at the highlights in this one. A victory for Cuba. Here's how it went down. Guatemala with the best first look. Venezuela just heard from her off the crossbar. Second chance just goes wide. A good opportunity there from Venezuela and Guatemala. As you see Soto charging in on the left side. Can't finish. Hernandez is all over that. One more look. Oh, man, so close. Would have put Guatemala up 1-0. And then going back the other way. Just a little mishap. Montalvo has a chance here for Cuba, beats one defender in Gade, and then collides there with the keeper and Castellanos. Nice feed. Really is a stop with the lower body for Castellanos, but a good save nonetheless. Back the other way, here's a great feed, a dish from Ledesma, and Montalvo finishes the job. So Montalvo puts Cuba up 1-0. Again, nobody back here for Guatemala, left all alone essentially is Castellanos and Montalvo. At the very end of the first half, it's stoppage time and Cuba goes up 1-0. She had been begging for a goal all day. Montalvo makes it 1-0, and then we start the second half, and pretty much right away we have a costly error. Marroquin with a foul in the 18, so a PK. Ledesma, perfect. Another look at it here. Frozen is the keeper in Castellanos, and it's 2-0 in a matter of minutes. A lead for Cuba. Back the other way for Guatemala at the end of the second half. Lets it fly there, does the captain in Dina Polanco. And that's a final really good look for Guatemala. That does it again. All it takes is those 2 strikes for Cuba. And they get win number 1 here in the Concacaf U17 Women's Championship. 2-0 is the final score. You see the shots are pretty much even. And possession time is actually in Guatemala's favor. But it's just those 2 little spurts and the costly error on the PK that ultimately are the difference. The fouls, though, pretty high number for Cuba. They might need to clean that up moving forward. Again, final score 2-0 Cuba with the win over Guatemala.